Welcome to Truly Timeless Failures, because every failure in history started with good intentions. So, it's 1854. The Crimean War is raging. And what do the British decide to do? They send their shiny cavalry, the Light Brigade, to get obliterated. Typical British stuff. And these guys weren't just any soldiers. They were the elite. Fast, daring, and kind of full of themselves. Like vegans who drive a Prius. Picture this. Lord Cardigan, the man in charge. The guy couldn't even put on a sweater correctly, and here he was leading a group of soldiers. The Light Brigade was meant for scouting and harassing retreating forces, not charging head-on to the world's deadliest artillery. But hey, as Drake said in 1822, you only live once, that's the motto, man, YOLO. October 25, 1854, the day that went from let's win a war to let's win a Darwin Award. A confused order from Lord Raglan, the commander-in-chief, sets up the ultimate oops moment. Instead of targeting some pesky Russian artillery that was literally in front of them, the Light Brigade is told to ride straight into the Valley of Death. Yes, death, as in that's where people go to get killed. Now here's where things get real dark real fast. The Light Brigade gallops straight into cannon fire from three sides. A move so gloriously dumb, it could have been a TikTok challenge. These guys kept riding, knowing full well it was a one-way ticket to being Swiss cheese. But hey, at least they looked majestic while being utterly annihilated. The dust settled, 600 men charged, and barely half of them limped back. A complete disaster. No land gain, no strategic victory, just a battlefield littered with broken dreams and some serious second-hand embarrassment. And yet, we still remember it today thanks to some poetic spin doctoring by Alfred Lord Tennyson. The moral of the story is that courage without common sense is the accelerated route to failure. But hey, if you thought that was bad, wait till you hear about Napoleon's invasion of Russia. Napoleon, history's golden boy. He thought he could outsmart a Russian winter. Let's break this down. The year is 1812. Napoleon's empire is thriving, but he's got one problem. Russia isn't playing nice. So what's his big brain move here? Invade Russia with 600,000 men. Sounds like a plan, doesn't it? Napoleon kicks off his invasion in the summer. Yeah, the summer. He clearly forgot to Google Russian weather today before taking off. With 600,000 men! Nothing screams military genius like thinking you can wrap up a Russian conquest before the snow hits. But Mother Nature had other plans. Russia, on the other hand, plays it cool. Literally. They retreat, burn everything behind them, pour themselves some vodka. Had to make an obligatory Russian stereotype. And wait for the winter to do the dirty work. Spoiler, not really, this happened 200 years ago. It does do the dirty work. Turns out Napoleon's army did not pack for an extended stay in Icetown because they were wearing coats made of overconfidence. Cue the snow, and not just a little sprinkle. We're talking blizzards, freezing temperatures, and supplies hitting starvation level. Napoleon's men start dropping like flies. It's almost like nobody told him that invading Russia in the winter is really freaking cold. By the time Napoleon decides to retreat, it's too late. He loses 90% of his army. Out of 600,000 men, about 50,000 make it back. Yeah, you read that right. You don't have to be a mad genius to know that those are bad odds. And to add insult to frostbite, he's no longer seen as invincible. P.S. The background is a retreating army. Just use your imagination, I couldn't find anything better. Napoleon's invasion of Russia is a masterclass in how sometimes you can have a large army and all the resources, but Mother Nature can sometimes give you the finger and really mess things up for you. Coming up, we'll head to Australia for a showdown against birds. Stay tuned for the Great Emu War. Think humans always win against animals? Think again. Welcome to Australia, 1932, where the military faced off against birds. And spoiler, the birds won. In 1932, the Great Depression hits Australia. And what's the biggest problem? Emus. These overgrown chickens decide to munch on crops, ruining farms. So naturally, the government sends in, drumroll please, the military. Of course, that's the logical solution to bird problems, no? Armed with machine guns, Major Meredith and his soldiers head into battle against the emus. But guess what? These birds are fast. The first battle ends with minimal bird casualties and a whole lot of wounded pride. Meredith's report? Emus are like tanks with feather. Not once to back down, the military tries again, this time with cars mounted with machine guns. Yeah, because nothing says effective strategy like trying to chase birds in a desert. Spoiler, the cars break down. The emus still winning. Australia 0, emus 1. After days of failure, the government calls off the operation. Final score? 986 birds down. Out of 20,000. That's less than 5%. This deserves a slow clap. The emus go on to live their best lives while Australia's military licks its wounds. And that, folks, is how a bunch of birds outsmarted an army. The Great Emu War is proof that not all battles are meant to be won. Like, share and subscribe if you like the story so far. Truly Timeless Failures will return next week.